Alright, what up, what up, what up? Welcome, welcome, welcome! I've been through this scene for so many years, and I've gotten to see so many players go from just like complete dog shit at the game, no one cares about how they perform in tournaments, to just being some of the best players of all time, like, ever, right? Duck's one of the best players of all time, and I knew him back when he was still, like, getting good at the game. Still used to go, like, wow, when he'd watch me play. Now he just shakes his head like my disappointed dad. Whenever I do anything, even win, Duck shakes his head like he's disappointed that I didn't win harder. Yeah, like I saw all these kids, all these players grow up and become better players. And the funny part is, like, I think it was specifically Mango and I who turned them into, like, overprivileged top players. Not that they abuse it, right? I think Mango and I have always been really funny about, like, being super top player privileged. Like, we're fucking divas, right? You need to start acting like a top player. Do you know how hard it is to get Mango to do anything? Like, you could be a TO and you want him to show up for something and he just doesn't respond to you. Or he finally responds, but his response is just a fat raffle. Like, you're like, hey, Mango, can you come to this tournament, like, a day early to help, like, build up hype? And he'll just send you a fat raffle and he won't actually reply. Like, you have to do all these things to get to him. You don't even know how many times other people have hit me up saying, hey, can you ask Mango to do this? Can you ask Mango to do X? I'm like, why? Because he just didn't respond to you? Or he just started laughing at you? He doesn't care what you're telling him? They always reach out to me. Or now they do it to Tafo. Now they reach out to Tafo to try to get Mango to do shit. Because Mango knows. Mango knows he's a top player. He doesn't have to do shit. And it was so funny to, like, transfer this energy onto other players. So if you don't know, my favorite Kalamazoo story is back when he wasn't like a really, really good player like he is today. He had barely won a bunch of important sets. So he ended up finishing, I think, 9th at Big House 4 at a super major, right? So that's huge. He ended up beating Hack's Money. He beat Vans, the Peach player, and a couple other people. But he went on a deep, deep run. So at the end of the day, he asked me for a money match. And I agreed. I was sitting at my setup and I go, yeah, I'm down for a money match. Just come over to my setup. Because I had just beaten someone and my setup was now free. And he gets up from his TV and he starts to walk over and then he stops in the middle of it. And then he looks at me and he looks like he's thinking for a second. And then he looks at me and he goes, no, today you come to me. So he had like this revelation, right? Where like normally throughout his life, he was the noob that had to pay attention to the pros, right? He had to do what the pros wanted. He had to succumb to the top player privilege. At that very moment, after his run at Big House, he had a revelation. He's like, wait a minute, I'm a good player now. How about you come to me? And it was so wholesome. It's like my little kid grew up. He finally realized that he was no longer a shitter. He was a top player. And he gets to tell other top players what to do. Oh, that kind of revelation happened to a lot of people, actually. Specifically, like there's one I tell all the time. Again, it's the same Michigan crew. It's like Duck, Prince Abu, and Kalamazoo have similar stories. In Duck's case, the world was starting to respect Duck's name. And at a certain tournament in the East Coast, Mango and I were hanging out with Kalamazoo, Prince Abu, and Duck. And we finally got to the tournament. But now we were already about 20 minutes late. So the whole car ride, like, Prince Abu's freaking out. He's like, dude, we're gonna be late. We're gonna get disqualified. Dude, I flew all the way out here. I can't be late, whatever. And then me and Mango are like, what time did the tournament start? Oh, 10 minutes ago? Ah, that's fine. Who's TOing? Yeah, that's fine. They won't DQ us. And we're just chilling, right? We're on our phone. We're relaxing. And Prince Abu's, like, freaking out. Just losing his mind. And then and Mango and I are just chilling. And then as soon as we arrive at the tournament, they get out the car. Like, they bust out the car. They slam the door open. They start running out. And they start running towards the door because they think they're going to get disqualified. And then Mango starts cracking up. And he goes, look at these fucking noobs running to make sure they don't get disqualified. And then as soon as Mango said that, in the middle of the run, Duck stopped. Duck was running to make sure he didn't get disqualified. And as soon as he heard Mango say, look at these noobs running to make sure they don't get disqualified, Duck had a revelation in his brain. He's like, wait a minute, I'm a top player now. I don't need to run to make sure I don't get disqualified. And then he just immediately stopped running. It was at that moment that Duck realized he was a top player now. That's where he had the revelation. Mango was cracking up. Mango was dying. Mango starts laughing. He's like, look, he stopped running. Yeah, when boys become men. Oh my god. Like my favorite, I told this story a couple times too. My favorite Prince Abu story. Once again, it involved Kalamazoo, Duck, and Prince Abu. So like Mango just won this tournament or something. And then the next day at about like 11 a.m. Checkout at the hotel is at 11 a.m. And Mango and I are just chilling. We're just hanging out. We're still playing Melee. And Prince Abu is freaking out. He's like, man, like the checkout's at 11. We gotta go, guys. Like we gotta start packing up and we gotta go. And then I was just sitting there. I was like, yo, Prince, just chill out, man. He's like, what do you mean? We're gonna have to pay for another night. We gotta go. We gotta leave. We're not ready. And then I don't know what happened, but I just got inspired to do this. I didn't plan any of it. I walked him towards the window. I was like, look, Prince Abu, come here. Follow me. I need you to see something. And then we walk over to the window. And I opened the curtains. And I just knew that I would see exactly what I needed to see. I looked outside the window. And I see two smashers lugging this huge fucking CRT back to their car to put it in the trunk, right? These are smashers that didn't win the tournament. They're just normal attendees lugging their CRTs, you know, struggling in the morning to get out of the hotel early, just packing up the setup they put away. And I said, Prince, you're a top player, right? And he goes, I think I am. I say, okay, so tell me, those guys got out of the hotel on time. And I couldn't have timed this better. I was like, do you want to be them or do you want to be him? And then I turn and I point at Mango, and Mango, like at this exact moment, cracked open a beer at 11 a.m. As the checkout time at this hotel is at 11 a.m., he just cracks a beer and starts chugging it. I'm like, do you want to be them or do you want to be him? And then he looks at Mango, he looks back outside at these guys sweating, lugging around their CRT, trying to get out of the hotel on time. And he's like, I want to be like Mango. I'm like, all right, then you need to chill out. You start acting like a top player. Of course, that's just bullshit, right? Like, I was just fucking around. Like, obviously, it's dope that people are there to, like, bring setups to the tournament. And, like, we love the O-tours of our generations. But this was just a funny-ass moment where I was like, look, that's the ultimate top player right there, Mango. Literally cracking a beer after the hotel is telling us to get the fuck out. And not even worrying about it. I think he was pouring it into like a styrofoam cup or something at 11 a.m. No one's drinking with him. It's just Mango just cracked a beer. I think he was already kind of buzzing. And I'm just like, do you want to be them? And it just blew Prince Abu's mind. Prince Abu used to be a nice guy. Ever since that moment, he turned into the dick that he is today, where he's just always trolling and talking shit to people. I changed him in that very moment. He just became a completely different person. We taught him the ways of being a true top player. I don't even remember who the smashers were carrying around the CRT. What if it was like Ben and like Kadoran, you know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't recognize them at the time, and now they're gods. And you know what's funny? Like Kadoran would still be carrying CRTs. He's that kind of guy. He's cool. He's not a dick like Mango and myself. Yeah, it could have been a young crush. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm out. Peace. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Yeah, I'm on the HyperX ad on this. I didn't realize that until today. I just saw my face on it. I was like, oh, that's what they asked for. Not Summit, but HyperX asked me. I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. I'm on the ads.